Hello, everyone, and welcome to our fourth HSTV podcast. Today we have a very special guest, Walid Hadi, the chairman of Oman Shell.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. It's great to be here with you guys.
This is one of my favorite podcasts to do. I'm really excited to do it because it was our first guest from outside the ABA. As you know, the ABA HSTV podcast has been doing well, but we are trying to grow it to a big, I wouldn't say business, but an enterprise, we'll put it like that. So thank you so much for coming on today.
No worries.
Means a lot.
Glad to be part of it, guys.
So can you tell us a little bit about yourself, an introduction? What about you? What's special about Walid Hadi?
Nothing is special about Walid Hadi. My name is Walid Hadi. I'm a proud father of two ABAers. So this is like our second home. So I'm very glad to be here. I met my wife when I was much younger than you guys and married her when I was a bit older than you guys. I started working around 2000 after finishing university in Lebanon. I started my career in Qatar, in Doha. Then moved to Dubai, worked for a couple of companies before joining Shell, with whom I now have been for 18 years. And that wonderful journey has taken me all sorts of good and beautiful places in the world. And the best one is certainly the one I'm in at the moment. I've been in Oman since April 2019, so an old timer by now. And I'm still here, thankfully, enjoying this beautiful country. My kids are still here enjoying this beautiful school. And I'm looking forward to this interview. I'm a bit nervous, I have to admit. I think you guys are well prepared, but we'll make the most out of it.
So 18 years seems like a very long time to work for one business. So I'm right to assume that you do enjoy working for Oman Shell. And how has your journey been working for Oman Shell? How has it been? Was there any struggles along the way?
So 18 years, obviously not all of them in Oman Shell. In Shell, 4 years of them in Oman Shell. I worked for 4 different companies in the first 5 years of my career and one for the next 18 years. So that tells you how much I'm enjoying it. The beautiful thing about Shell is it takes you to all sorts of places that you wouldn't have otherwise visited. You meet all sorts of brilliant people inside Shell, but also the people we work with, our partners and our community members. And there's a different challenge every day. Obviously, my job in Oman is no short of those challenges, but that's what makes the job interesting and makes me want to wake up in the morning and go to work. In Oman, we faced a lot of challenges, like any other country that's trying to navigate the energy transition and the climate change issues, which I assume is going to be a major part of our focus today. Sort of doing the right thing by the energy transition, by climate change is very hard work, which means it's filled with challenges. And we can talk a bit about them more specifically. But overall, I think in this country, we find a place where we could continue building our business. We've been in Oman for 70 odd years, and we hope to stay for 70 more. We believe we have a strategic partnership with the country. We believe we have a strategic partnership with the people of Oman through the way we conduct our business. And Oman is a country that has enormous potential. And we feel also privileged to have the opportunity to help the country achieve its potential and be one of the companies in which the government of Oman and the people of Oman put their trust.
So as you said, you've worked for various companies. Are all those companies energy-based?
Not all of them. I worked for a couple that were energy-based. I also worked for an audit and consultancy firm at the beginning of my career, which was called Anderson. It now no longer exists. And I worked for 6 months in Adidas, which was one of the highlights of my career. I still have Adidas merchandise that I accumulated from those 6 months. That was a short but very nice part of my career. And then the Shell opportunity came along, and I followed my heart, which is in the energy business. So I decided to go back.
What inspired you to take a career in energy? Was there something that attracted you to it?
Luck, I think. When I joined my first job, which was this audit and consultancy firm, I had a choice to go between banking and energy.
And Adidas?
That was Adidas came later. That was in the beginning. But our clients usually consultancy and audit firms, they group their clients by sector so that you develop people who understand that sector and become experts in it. It was a choice between banking and energy, and because of the unavailability of some people who were supposed to work on the energy portfolio, I was shifted from banking to energy. My educational journey, I think, had much less guidance and counseling than the privilege that you and your friends get at ABA, and I know that firsthand. So I was less prepared, maybe in the beginning of my career, to think about what I really wanted to do, and I had to discover it after I graduated by working in different fields and finding out where my passion was. And over time, it became clear to me that my passion is energy, especially when I left the industry for a few months.
You missed it.
I missed it. And I decided I'll come back at the first possible opportunity, and that was only 6 months later. So like everything in life, luck plays a major part in this.
Can you just tell us a bit more about that, like your journey into this? And I specifically want to know more about Adidas. How did Adidas fall into that?
There was a job opportunity. I applied for it. I was attracted by it. I liked the brand. I was attracted by it. I did well in the interview. They hired me. And literally on the first day on the job in Adidas, I got a call from a headhunter telling me there's an opening in one of the major energy companies in Dubai. Are you interested? And I didn't know at that time whether I was interested, but I thought I'll see where this goes. And very quickly, as I spent a bit more time in Adidas and understood that Shell was the employer, I made up my mind that despite all the cool stuff in Adidas, I'd rather go back and pursue my passion in energy. Yeah, and from there, I joined Shell in Dubai, worked there for a couple of years. Then we moved to Holland, and we spent quite a bit of time in Holland. And my time in Holland was spent doing different things. Then later on, I moved to Kazakhstan with a family. So we spent a couple of years in Kazakhstan, which was a very nice and a very cold location. After that, we went back to Holland, and we thought, this is it. We're staying here until the kids finished school, and Oman came knocking on the door. And I've been in Oman many times before we actually moved here. So it didn't take more than a few seconds to decide that this is a place we wanted to live. And that's where we've been for the last 4 years.
How did touring the world come about? So from Holland to Kazakhstan to Dubai to Oman, it really seems like you've seen the world, like Europe, Asia, the Middle East. How did that happen? Was it part of the plan?
No, if I think of, but I honestly didn't have a plan when I started my career, and that worked fine. It came as part of just the opportunities that came in our way. We're people who like to get exposed to different cultures, meet new people, experience new settings, and every time a nice opportunity came to add something to that, we took it. Now, obviously, over time, the children become older, they need stability, they need more continuity. So our appetite to sort of go to a different country every couple of years is significantly diminished now. And to be honest, that's a very nice problem to have when you're living in a country like this. But that's how it came about, mainly driven by work, but also when we were not working on holidays, we try to visit as many new places as we can. It's very enriching when you experience food and culture and music and societal norms. It's very nice.
So the world is pushing for climate change and for greener energy. Currently, Shell is one of the largest exporters of polluting greenhouse gases and crude oil. So how will you be changing your approach to becoming more environmentally friendly with that?
You really put them on the spot.
I didn't.
I was right to be nervous.
I didn't write these questions.
I think I know the person who did. How do we do that? We have a very clear strategy in Shell around where our journey started with respect to climate change back in 2017, which is when we made our first commitments as a company to reduce the carbon footprint and the greenhouse gas impact of our business. And it matured over time, most recently in 2021, when we updated that strategy, made it more comprehensive and clearer. And basically, what we aspire to achieve is by 2050, which is the date that all other institutions and governments and companies around the world are targeting as a date if you want to achieve sustainability in the energy sector. By 2050, we want to produce all the energy that we produce, including its consumption by customers, like people who fuel their cars or people who burn gas to produce electricity, etc. We want to be net zero, which means that we have no additional impact on the environment from a greenhouse gas perspective. And we do that with three main tools. One is where we can avoid carbon emissions and greenhouse gases, we avoid it. Where we cannot avoid it, but we can mitigate it, so for example, capture these greenhouse gases and store them safely in a place where they don't impact the environment, then that's what we want to do. And where we cannot avoid or mitigate, we want to offset. And that means investing in solutions that absorb energy from the atmosphere to the amount of greenhouse gases that we're not able either to avoid or mitigate. So that's broadly what we're trying to do. There's a lot of people today who have no access to energy, so we're privileged to be living in a country that's as developed and as stable and as comfortable as Oman, but not everybody has the same luck that we have. A lot of people live without access to energy. So we need more energy. We need it to be affordable, cheap, so that everybody can have access to it, and it's not something that's only available for economies or societies that are privileged. And we need it to be secure. And the recent unfortunate events that have happened in Europe over the last few years have shown us how vulnerable the world energy system is and how important the continuity of supply is. And these are very difficult problems. They require initiative from companies like us, which we are committed to take. They require initiatives from governments, which have a very big role to play. They also require initiatives from society and the trends and what consumers do and how they consume energy and how sustainable those consumption trends are. So all of us need to come together because this planet doesn't belong to only one part of humankind. It belongs to all of us. So we take it very, very seriously.
Yes, of course. Can I ask one question? It's totally off script, but you said that you came here to Oman in 2019, April 2019. So that's right after that was when COVID hit. Yeah. So how did you take the change, like personally?
I call myself a COVID baby because I was actually traveling in and out of Oman until the end of 2019, and shortly after I moved, COVID hit. And that was a difficult period because my family was still in Holland, so my wife and children, and I had to be here alone, and obviously they had to be here alone. And we spent a number of months not being able to travel, obviously, because of the airports and the restrictions. But in a way, I think as hard as it was also an experience that taught us a lot of skills and things we didn't think were possible before. Working virtually, we were able to maintain our business and take care of our people, despite not being able to see them physically and face to face. I think life slowed down a little bit and enabled us to take better care of ourselves. So that's something that I think I was fortunate enough to do during COVID. And at some point, obviously, we all got frustrated and we couldn't wait to get back to our normal life. But there are some habits that we still have today and we don't think much about them that we didn't think pre-2019 were possible. So as tough as that period was, I think I'm kind of grateful for that experience because it made us all, I think, stronger people having survived it.
Yeah, of course.
I do agree with you in saying that although COVID was a very tough time for everyone, it really kind of opened the world's eyes to what's actually been going on. It made us think in many new ways, which I don't think we would have thought before COVID. I think technology as well, like virtual technology, online school, online meeting was a really big factor in COVID. Without it, it would have been really bad. So I think, yeah, with COVID, it was really bad, but I do think the world did need COVID.
Yeah. And it shows you how resilient we are. We always, that's humankind. We face difficulties and we surmount them. And that's how I also feel about the climate change issues and the energy transition. It's a big problem, but I know we'll find a way to solve it.
Yeah, I mean, everyone learned something from COVID, so maybe it wasn't good, maybe it wasn't bad, but we all learned something, so definitely an experience. We have been talking about Chairman of Oman Shell, Walid Hadi. What do you do? Like, what are your hobbies? What when you get home, when you're done with your work, like what is it that you do?
So when I'm done with my work, I spend as much time as I can with the family and especially with Ziad and Salma, and trying to get them sort of to sleep at the right time in a school night is a very challenging task. But sometimes we are successful in doing that. I like to exercise. I don't exercise as much as I should, but I feel my best form when I'm sort of doing physical activities, whether it's in the gym or maybe walking or running on the beach in Al Mouj, which we're fortunate to live close to. And the thing that I enjoy doing the most is playing chess. So I love playing chess. Whenever I have 10 minutes, I go onto my chess app, and that's how I switch off and sort of regain my center. I'm getting slowly better at it. I'm not that good yet, so don't put me in front of your chess champions at school. But I also find it's a very nice way to keep gray matter working instead of doing what most of you youngsters do these days, which is sort of go on social media and look at reels. So that would be my by far my best hobby is chess.
Yeah. Speaking to head of social media, by the way, I'm just saying.
Nothing wrong with that, as long as you use it responsibly, like everything else in life.
Inshallah. Yeah, I don't know about chess and all that, but look, if you need any like gym tips,
Badr, he's the guy.
he has your back.
Hala, we'll do an arm wrestle when we're done. See,
you don't want to try now.
For the content.
Indeed.
So before we close off, is there anything else you want to say to our guests, to the fans? Is there anything you want to bring up?
I'm not sure I have fans. I think if I after this I might. Absolutely, I might. No, really well done. I know how much you guys put sort of energy and passion into making this happen. You're obviously all very committed to it. I wasn't trying to be nervous. I think you asked tough questions, but you asked them in a way that was kind, and I think that shows your character as well. Thank you for embodying the citizenship traits of ABA, and enjoy your time in this beautiful school.
Thank you, Ammo. You're an amazing guest. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you, and thank you guys all for staying and
subscribe, follow.
That
do your
I'm
thing.
supposed to say that.
Same thing. It's fine.
Like and subscribe. Make sure you follow us on all of our social medias. I link them, please. I think HSTV Podcast. Make sure you go follow. Thank you. Bye.
That was